Hi, I'm Dr. Mike from Orange B&I, and I wanted to give a testimonial for Tom Luebke, the last honest lawyer, also in our group. I had a case referred to me several years ago where the attorney, another attorney, referred this case to me, and long term down after a while, he actually dropped the case. I referred that case over to Tom, and Tom ended up settling this case after we went to trial for $1.9 million. True story. So the other attorney dropped the case. He didn't feel he could do anything with it. Tom settled it. So he's great. I would highly recommend him.
Hi, I have testimonial for Tom Luebke, the last honest lawyer. And my brother-in-law got in an accident a couple months ago, and he was going to do it by himself through the insurance. And I told him, you know what, don't do it because they're going to screw you up. So I'll give him Tom Luebke number and everything. They got connected, and he got his case resolved within 2 months, and he gave him about $8,000. So he's really happy, and I really recommend Tom Luebke.
And it's been quite a ride. I have a lot of stories to tell that I can't say in 10 minutes. But married, I've been married for 27 years as well. I found out I passed the bar the day before I got married. So that was interesting. I have 3 wonderful children, ages, come on Tom, 22, 20, and 15. So one of them just graduated from college, and the other is still in college, and I have a 15-year-old that's in high school. So they keep me pretty darn busy. And on top of that, I have my law practice. Been doing that an awful long time. My partner Jim is my brother-in-law, and I keep him in San Diego County. It makes for a great partnership. He runs the San Diego office, and I run the Orange County office. But it does allow us to have a pretty wide blanket of expertise and be able to cover all of San Diego, Orange County, and LA. So today, instead of trying to teach you about one of the 14 major areas of the law, which is going to take way more than 10 minutes, I decided to just focus specifically on the types of cases I'm looking for and some of the cases I'm working on right now that may jog something in your mind as to how to refer a case to me. And then I've also tried to parlay that into cases I'm working on for current or former B&I members, just to keep it all in the family, as they say. So my big areas are personal injury, business litigation, and family law. And you hear that every week when I come and tell you, what do I do? But amazingly, you folks sometimes, and even my own family members, can't remember what the heck it is that I do every day. And that's the problem of having a general practice, because I do a little bit of everything. But those are my 3 main areas. Personal injury cases, what are they? Bread and butter is automobile, actually, personal injury cases are inclusive of a number of different injuries, but the bread and butter are auto accident cases. And these are cases that involve significant impact and significant injury. I'm not really looking for door dings and things like that. That's not what I do. I represent people who've been seriously injured in accidents, a lot of times car accidents. Example, there's 2 ladies who were struck by someone who ran a red light down in the Palm Springs area. The guy just did not stop at all and smashed into them and totaled almost a brand new car. And these were 2 older ladies, and they were hurt rather seriously. And I'm in litigation right now trying to recover the appropriate damages for them. Liability isn't an issue, damages are an issue. Ramil de los Santos, member from this group, I'm representing him. A driver fell asleep and smashed into 3 different cars, including Ramil and his wife, who was pregnant at the time. Fortunately, the baby's fine, and we're duking it out, and we're in this little fist fight. Not a UFC fight, but a a little fist fight over how to divvy up the money, because the guy only had a minimum insurance policy. So these injury cases don't have to be car cases, though. It can be other things, like a bicycle case. I have a rather large case right now of 2 bikes that collided on a bike path. And amazingly, they both sustained serious head injuries. My client had a fractured clavicle and a punctured lung and broken rib, and really serious. And the guy was on the wrong side. He was passing, on the bike lane, as you need to do when there's pedestrians, but you're supposed to only do it when it's safe. And he didn't, and crashed into her, and so we're in pretty sizable litigation over that as well, because he's saying it wasn't his fault, even though he has no memory of the accident. Dog bites. You know, it's horrible. You don't want one, you hate to hear about them or read about them, but I've handled a number of different dog bite cases. Those fall under the personal injury category. A lot of issues related to that. Insurance people know this. Some dogs are covered, some aren't, some are excluded. But a lot of times they're quite serious when you get bit by a dog, especially if it involves a small child or if it involves scarring. I've handled a number of trip and fall cases. Those fall under personal injury category. You can fall for a number of reasons. It doesn't automatically mean you're going to get money. Someone has to be negligent in creating a condition. It could be something on the floor, or for instance, we've had 2 sizable cases that involved inadequate lighting in a parking lot. We had a case at a church where everyone is at a church function, but they turned the lights off before everybody was exiting the parking lot because it was on some sort of timer and they forgot the daylight saving, I don't know. And she fell and broke both of her shoulders. And so, you know, the poor woman, but anyway, we're able to recover for her, and I've had other cases where the lights go out at a restaurant and then someone falls. Typically older people will fall if there's inadequate lighting. Pedestrian cases are pretty common. People are injured, whether they're walking on the sidewalk or in the street or in a crosswalk. Sometimes you hear about cars veering or losing control or just plain old not seeing people in the crosswalk. So it's not always just an auto versus auto. I've handled a number of construction site accidents, things of that sort. So any situation where someone is seriously injured could be the result of someone else's negligence. And if that's the case, then they may want to talk to someone like myself. Business litigation, what is it? Okay, I'm looking for business clients. I'm looking for all of you in the event you get sued, and I hope you never do. But if you do, you're going to want me, and I'll be your best friend. Even if you didn't call me before that. So I incorporate new businesses. It's part of what I do, and that's how I generate business and keep people in the fold, so to speak, throughout the years, because I start their business off for them by incorporating them. And that protects them from personal liability, of course. Dr. Connie, I recently incorporated her. She was our optometrist of the group, and now she's not, but still a great lady. Incorporated her optometry practice. And I'm just finishing up with Mark Flanders, who was the general contractor that was in this group for quite some time. And he decided to take that step and protect himself in case something happens on one of the jobs that he is working on as a general contractor. Business litigation cases is a good hunk of what I do. And what is that? It can be any number of things. A lot of times it's involving the purchase and sale of a business. Okay, somebody's not happy. Someone thinks they got zoomed on the price, or that there were misrepresentations about what was being sold, misrepresentations about the economic value of the company. Those end up in litigation on a pretty regular basis. That happened with Mr. David Lawson, who used to be our computer expert of this group. And we had to, well, there was a suit over the sale of the business. The bottom line is the buyer wasn't making his payments. We don't need to get into any more specifics than that, but that took a really long time and drug out for a really long time. Anyway, I helped him with that, and Dr. Marcy, our dentist, former dentist, had some problems with a company that she hired to do her billing, and they kind of came in and misrepresented things to her and took control and basically had entire control over her receivables, which was not good. And we resolved that and were able to get them out, so to speak. All these things fall within the realm of things that I do because I'm a problem solver. So whether it's getting hit by a car or getting zoomed in your business or real estate problem, this is what I do. I do quite a bit of real estate litigation, and that involves, just suing lots of real estate agents. No. I do not sue real estate agents and brokers, unless I have to. But where I get involved a lot of times with these real estate cases is disclosure issues. People are selling a home, they don't give full disclosure. Or people are buying a home and they feel that things weren't disclosed, whether it's a leaky roof, whether it's contamination. I assisted Robin Stein, who was a former business coach, and there were some issues over water leaks with her house, and I assisted her. Also boundary disputes and easements, that's pretty common. A lot of times that's in large areas. Other times it's just two residents fighting over where the heck is the wall supposed to be. Bob wants to build it here, and I'm saying, no, the boundary is here. And you'd be surprised how many times that ends up in litigation. So boundary disputes is big. Breach of contract cases involving real estate transactions is something that pops up quite often. We have issues with leases. Either the landlord or the tenant saying there's a breach in a lease scenario. Right now I'm in another pretty messy litigation, which happens to involve my father-in-law, so if I don't win, I'm out of the will. That involves a right of first refusal. If you're leasing a property and you have a right of first refusal, peace to you too, Mitch, then sometimes that's an issue. The terms of a contract and the language within a contract, a purchase contract, or a lease, these are things that I do. And then, save the best for last. No, not too much shark action in divorce, but part of what I do is family law, which is a nice way for saying ugly divorce. And that involves, filing for legal separation or divorce. People are married and don't want to be married anymore. And they have a lot of issues. And the issues involve not only themselves, but their children. And so we have a lot of issues about child custody, child support, visitation, and spousal support. So it's a pretty healthy block of things that I do. Is family law and representing people who have issues in that regard. Not just getting them divorced, but post-judgment issues, which many times involve the children and custody of the children and child support and visitation issues. So that is, and I've represented, well, we're not going to name names on that one, but I have some former B&I people who've had some family law issues and I've been able to assist them. But the point is, I have B&I clients in every major category of work that I do, and I think that's great, and that's why I'm in the group.